We want to show you some pictures now to put into perspective the devastation we're seeing today in Jasper. This is a neighborhood just outside of town on the southern side of Jasper. Homes here are all surrounded by trees. So this is after when the wildfire first reached the edge of the town. These homes would have been amongst the first structures that were hit. This is moments later. That neighborhood completely engulfed. This is Moline Lodge, one of the most iconic buildings in Jasper. It's at the southern entrance to town. This is the lodge, engulfed in flames. Now, deeper into town, near the center, you'll find Jasper Anglican Church. It was built in the 1920s and later declared a historic resource. Queen Elizabeth II visited that church in 2005 while she was in Canada. This is a photo of the church taken sometime last night. The flames were approaching it. And this is the church today. It's gone. Only the chimney is left standing. Stephen London is the Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Edmonton, and Bishop London joins me now. Bishop, it's nice to meet you. I wish it was under better circumstances, but thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We've seen the picture of what remains of the Jasper Anglican Church. It's not much for a building that was nearly 100 years old since it's been used as a church. What were your thoughts when you saw that image?
Oh, it was heartbreaking. This has been a hard day to see a town. I don't live there, but I love Jasper so much. And that church is so beautiful and iconic and so important for our community. It was painful to see.
You're the bishop of the diocese, but you're not the local priest. I mean, what is the situation for your people who are in that church every Sunday? How are they right now?
You know, they're really struggling, the ones we've been able to contact. So as you know, they evacuated a few days ago, and we've been able to be in contact with some of them, but haven't been able to find all of them. But we do know not only have we lost a church, we've lost homes, we've lost livelihoods. It's just a time of shock right now.
What have the people you've been able to reach, what have they said to you about what the last couple of days have been like for them and their thoughts on the loss of this building?
Well, just that it's very stressful to watch that. So I think we were all trying to watch the social media last night, watching the news coverage, turning into the CBC to see that, and kind of disbelief. Like I know there's just a lot of shock. I know I myself felt that last night. Like really couldn't believe that this was actually happening.
You say you haven't been able to reach some people. You're talking about members of the congregation, or are you talking about people who work for the church there, or maybe are on the staff? And are you worried about their safety with this inability to contact them?
No, I'm not worried about their safety. So far as I understand, everybody evacuated and everyone got out safe. And that's actually the biggest thing that we celebrate, that everybody did get out, and we do know that they're safe. Most of our people went to Valemount, and there's some people who are still there. What I don't know is if some people have moved on to either Grand Prairie or Calgary during this time. That's kind of our question.
We heard the description from the emergency officials today that the fire that was out of control became uncontrollable because of these large gusts of wind. And at one point, the flames were more than 100 meters high and covered 5 kilometers in 30 minutes. What were you thinking when you heard the description of what happened to Jasper?
Like I told you, I couldn't believe it. Was just not wanting to watch, but couldn't not watch. You know, I was thinking and praying for the town, for all the people the whole time. And then, of course, there was a long time when we just didn't know what happened. Like, obviously, reporters weren't able to get in, and rightly so, for their safety and the concern for all the firefighters and all that. But just news was not able to trickle in. We didn't find out until this morning, sorry, that the church had burned and that some houses were lost. We just found all this out this morning.
Yeah, we see, I mean, it's obviously very clear, unfortunately, what has happened to the church, the building itself. The Premier said at her briefing earlier today that the early estimates are between 30 to 50% of the structures in Jasper, the buildings in Jasper, have been damaged or destroyed. What goes through your mind when you think of that kind of devastation to a community as small as Jasper?
Oh, that's just hard to hear. I can't imagine the hardship of that. Like, I know it's a beautiful and resilient people, and people love Jasper so much. I mean, I myself love going out there once a year at least, or a couple times a year. Places that I've known and loved, not to see them there, but then knowing people who live there and knowing that they've lost stuff that's so important. I guess that's what goes through my mind. Just the heartbreak of the whole thing.
Well, the church is often who people turn to in times of disaster and in times of need. Jasper is going to have significant need in the days ahead. I mean, what are your plans at this point, Bishop, to reach out to your parishioners and maybe offer them some help in the coming days?
Well, that's our first priority right now, is to track down and find out where people are, to give them pastoral care if they need it, material assistance if they need it. Like right now, we're just trying to find out where they are. We know where some of them are, and we're in conversation with them, but not all. And that's really our first priority right now.
It may be too early to ask this, but just as a final point, I mean, do you think you'll be able to rebuild the church in Jasper? We don't yet know what the things will look like once crews are able to get in there. Is it your hope and plan that you can rebuild the church there?
Sure. I think in our diocese, like, it's never just a bishop decides this, that, and the other thing. It's a
Sure.
conversation with a congregation, and we'll do that. I mean, even if you rebuild, I mean, this was a historic, iconic building. It was built back in the 1920s. It was a beautiful structure. So history has been lost. But of course, we do look forward, and so I do expect there will be something looking forward. We want to have a vibrant community there in Jasper to minister to the needs of the people. Absolutely.
Bishop Stephen London, I hope you're able to make contact with all of your people very soon, and I hope everyone's okay. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.